Which one?
The video, the previous one, the video that I did when we were watching the ball game, and it was like what it was. You know, what the hell am I talking about? You know what I'm
Are you
saying?
talking about the one with the bracketology on it?
Yeah,
I watched that today. Yeah.
yeah. Well, okay, yeah, because I did the funny stuff on it. So
I mean, that's not. I didn't watch the full thing, but yeah, I definitely watched that at some point today,
th
and I watched the fourth.
there's a question answered for you folks out there.
Oh yeah, there we go.
You live?
Yeah.
I'm gonna shut the bedroom door.
Why you
And
don't have to? We can't hear
and
that.
and and we are live.
All right, fine. We are
Live.
live. Welcome, folks.
Hear this? Sorry.
Mm.
Live. I feel alive. I feel alive.
That was very Bee Gees-esque right there. You might want to stop that if you're
Way to
wearing
go, Mr. Gibb.
if you're wearing the pants too tight or whatever.
Just go down to game 7.
Hands at your tight. Hands at your tight.
Is this? Ooh, is this? Yes. Okay. I can put some. I can put some hockey in the background. That'll work.
Something more competitive? Is that what you're trying to go for there?
Something a little more aggressive than baseball.
Oh yeah.
Unless you, of course, get hit in the face with a baseball.
Full,
That's
full
pretty
contact
funny.
golf.
That would be hilarious. That I would probably enjoy.
What was his name? I can't remember his name from the Reebok commercials.
Gilmore?
Terry, what's his name? Office
You mean
linebacker.
Happy Gilmore?
Well, yeah, that guy too. Ah. So,
So
folks, we're here. We're like taking questions this time.
yeah, whatever questions,
Questions.
whatever.
Marvel in our parents' basement. We're both happily married to women.
Yeah, yeah. Where's the thing? Okay, I need a.
Preferably questions that are plane related or technology related,
Or yeah,
or
things of that sort.
or if pet related, it would be
Hey,
more.
speaking of that, dude, I gotta tell you, I thought of something interesting earlier, and you're gonna love this, or maybe you're not gonna love it. Yeah, you're gonna love this because you people
Oh,
hate planes anyway. No, 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 no. Think about this, okay?
I don't even know what's coming.
Okay, so on two sides of the coin, we got like, okay, I have rather for me, okay, I've got phase 3 and 4, right? Okay, and I have javelin.
You got phase 30 and 40. What are
I
you
do
talking
not.
about?
I do not. Get. Stop that. Stop with that nonsense. Okay. I got javelin. I got vampire. I got wyvern. Right. Okay.
Right, right.
So what I'm thinking here is like, okay, now obviously a couple of those are pretty old. Well, phase threes and javelins and well fours in that extent are pretty old. What if? What if? Now hear me out on this one. What if with the new Wasp turns out good? What if the new Venom NG, and Venom's not that young, but NG in itself is new. What if I just did kind of like a lineup swap and replaced the phases with like Venoms and well phase 3 with Venom and like phase 4 with Wasp and Javelin Vampire and Wyverns hold it out. What do you think?
Wait a minute. What?
I,
What?
I was thinking like I was wondering if I had a
All together.
well okay here's the thing I was thinking like well if I had like a full enough lineup, I can't remember exactly how I was planning. I got it written down at work, and I was like thinking this through. I'm like, okay, so if I did an even swap for most of these, except javelin, because I can't find a javelin replacement, and probably never will. Let's face it. But well, actually, I could if I went plastic. I suppose if I went plastic, I'd replace javelin, at least augment. Um, but vampires kind of new. Wyverns newer. Phase 3s and 4s obviously are old, but I was thinking, well, let's see. Like I said, outright changing. Oh, and Goblin too to a lesser extent. But I could always just outright like Javelin would stay, Wyvern would stay. Phase 3s could get. I'm pretty sure I said Wasp, and then Phase 4 would be Wyvern. Excuse me. Not Wyvern.
The
Wyvern,
the
like I said, Wyvern
Venom.
stays. Wyvern stays. Wasp does phase 3, and phase 4 gets Venom.
Yeah. Wow. What? Oh man.
Well, dude, we always
So
said,
you're
like,
talking about completely retiring a whole individual design that has taken you
I mean,
into like
look,
centuries and
I mean, I'm not pulling the trigger on it, and I'm not saying this is definitely going to happen, but I mean, our whole thing is to find planes that, like, again, that, advance, and one's better than the other. And I mean, like, you saw those, okay, yes, it was a fluke Venom flight, and it was a fluke Nova flight, and it was a fluke Wyvern flight that did what it did when it did what it did. Keep up with me.
when it did what it did what it did.
It did what it did. Okay, yes. And I suppose on any regular given time, regular flights in regular places, in regular standard circumstances, phase 3
There's nothing.
would
There's
on average beat everybody.
yeah. Would you say it that way? There's nothing that can beat the phase.
However, if it turns out that Wasp or Venom NG can do that,
But when have they been able to do it on a consistent basis? That's the problem.
well, see, that's what I think I'm going to make this year the testing, like the year of, is
Oh.
see if I can make Wasp and Venom consistently beat the phases.
Well, that's why, like, I'm waiting on, like, I don't know what I'm waiting on, but I'm waiting on something.
I'm waiting on something. Well,
But
Ninja's pretty good, yeah.
Ninja is definitely pushing the envelope for me to be able to have to come up with something else.
Right,
It's already taken over the mid range role with no problem.
right.
If I can push the envelope with Ninja, I can almost guarantee that I could get it to replace Spider. And that's scary because it's not even the same similar design.
Do you really wanted to replace Spider?
I don't
Okay,
because I
didn't think you did.
but see the problem I was having was I wasn't building Spider like Spider.
No, that's true. You weren't. Yeah. I had to show you. We had to rehash how you did it, and now you're
Yeah,
building it like you should be.
and it was pretty amazing when I did it that way. A few flights that I did try, it was pretty amazing.
Did you do it outside?
Yeah, I flew it outside right around the same time I flew Ninja, like
Okay.
a couple days later.
Did you take any videos of that by any chance, or no? I'm just
Uh,
curious.
no, because I really need to get a tripod set up.
Oh, you want to do what? Well, I always thought about that. You want to do kind of like a different version too, and like I thought about it too. We talked about this. I think when one of our exercises, and like setting the tripod up a distance away and then filming us from a distance, getting all the flights.
Well, yeah, that too, but to be able to set it up, uh, kind of similar to almost not even ground like horizontal with the ground, more like angled up towards the sky a little bit.
That's always tricky. You still need assistance in those flights because you need, well, if nothing else, then for the camera person, just because the camera person you need some test flights to be able to see that, like, where you need to stand to make sure each and every flight is going to be within the camera's range, because you're still going to have to zoom. I mean, if you're a distance away and the plane doesn't fly towards it, you're going to miss out on a lot. So
Yeah,
that's almost why I
which
kind of did go with okay, I dig the idea and I kind of want to do it, but I almost like the POV holding it because the plane starts out with me, so I'm going to be as close as I can be to it. I mean, just
yeah, I just don't have that type of camera, which I need to get one. Actually, I'm thinking about getting. I'm wondering if I can get like a multiple camera setup and do like a POV, do like a tripod, and then also like have one that I hold and I can zoom in and out with. And that way you can actually splice all the shots together
there
and
there's
make
got to be
one
something.
flight.
There's got to be some way, I'd imagine. Yeah.
That into the editor. You could take all three or four of those videos into editor mode and splice them together.
Right. Right.
And you start out holding it, which could start out from the tripod view, and then when it gets up into the air, you can switch to the zoomed in view, and then you know you could use a GoPro, and you could use like a regular camera, and you could use all kinds of stuff. I want to have them all.
Ultimately, it'd be really cool if you could use the plane's camera itself at one point.
Well, that's going to be so tricky if we can't get.
Hey,
if we can get a camera small enough to get on a plane, that would be great.
Well, you've seen some of the sizes of those. You've seen some of the sizes of Dalton's birds. Dalton's birds could carry a camera with not too much of a problem.
That's just so big. Like, I don't need.
No. But it does make it feasible, at least at that size. At least at that size.
Yeah, I mean at that size, but.
And I go to I've been going to like a couple of these like the model train shows in the area and stuff, and I must say Milwaukee's is like, well, I mean it's not by opinion, it's by fact, is one of the biggest in the nation.
You said Milwaukee or Milwaukee?
Milwaukee. It's Milwaukee. Why are we playing with this? In any case, they've been showcasing a lot on these recently, even particularly on the Ho-scale trains, placements of cameras on board the train itself, on the locomotive, so you kind of get the picture. And here, let me show you. For example, I mean, here's an HO size, and you see how big it is compared to a plane. And the camera fits in the train. And we're not talking this thing as a big piece of equipment. We're talking about it's about the size of one of these horns up here. So if it can indeed fit on that, I think we could get one a bit. I mean, we might be almost there, that it could fit on board aircraft, especially if they're wireless. And they have to be on the trains, because you don't trail a wire around on the damn train while it goes around and does whatever it does.
Well, yeah, that's kind of why I like the GoPros, but because they're pretty much wireless.
They're pretty much wireless, and they're small. However, they're not small enough to go on paper birds.
Yeah, they're definitely not small enough to go on a plane. I mean, they're still massive.
These ones that go on trains, though, when I saw it, they really got me thinking. I'm like, that's damn close.
And here's the other reason why I was talking about drones the other day, or I don't like to call them drones, but I like to call them quadcopters.
I like to call them radio-controlled aircraft, because that's what they are. I don't know when the fuck it became drones, but it really kind of aggravates me.
Yeah, I call it a quadcopter because that's exactly what it is. I mean, for the ones that I like, the 4 rotors. Yeah, I like those. Those are 4 rotors. Quad. In case people didn't know.
Yeah, I haven't really been bought into that. I mean, I've got a couple, but I haven't really bought into that. I don't quite. I just like regular standard.
That would be another way to help get some aerial shots as well.
Well, to a degree, but those things don't have a zoom. And again, if you're not flying, you better be ready.
Oh no, I was talking about building like our own from scratch, and you could build it however you want, whatever size you want.
Yeah, true.
To fit like a GoPro on it.
That's true. That would be a good way to do it.
You would just make a bigger one. Because they've got some videos out there of how people were building them from scratch out of like those, what are those shish kebab skewers?
Yeah.
Skewers, I think is how you say it. But there was one that was built out of that. I was like, well, why can't I just take it and build it out of like a small PVC pipe or some aluminum pipe, like little aluminum tubes or something, or
conduit?
Yeah, something. Or not even. It doesn't even have to be a tube. It could just be a flat piece of aluminum.
All you gotta do is I guess when something like that, you gotta just look in the proper places where you can find scrap or I mean, because you can buy the material, but I mean, if you want to truly go scratch build, you could find the material, and I don't know. Copters have various range. I mean, like I don't know exactly what they're made of. Like this is a simple plastic rod. This is plastic. This entire machine, I think, is plastic. There's no metal on this one whatsoever. This one is the same, but it actually has a body, and it does the same job. You know, I mean, it's perfectly capable of flight. Yet it's got a body. It looks like a copter. You know, so then you start getting heavier duty, which is the standard ones you see, and yes, that's metal with a plastic body encased, but I wouldn't know exactly what kind of shape that is back there. Or I mean, like, what kind of material, rather, that is back there. But yes, it is something, it's definitely of some kind of, I'm guessing it is some kind of aluminum, as the Brits like to call it. And where you can locate this stuff. Well, I know, here we are in the age of the internet. This stuff has got to be locatable, I'm sure. I just actually haven't pursued it myself. I'm sure we could find some if need be.
Yeah, and I mean, those were definitely the ones that I was looking at to at least start with.
Yeah.
But in the end, I wanted to completely build my own.
Oh yeah, of course, and it's going to end up. It won't look as good as this one when we start out, unless we actually go into body molding, which isn't as hard as it seems either, of course. Some of you out there may have actually had experience with this. In which case, please tell us, because we need to go on the road, you know, and figure this out. And I'm fairly well assured this is nothing complicated actually today, but just something we haven't bothered to try yet. That's all. And this little damn thing is so bloody small. I swear to God, dude. And so bloody plastic. It's like ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, does this stuff even handle it in the wind? How does that even work? How does that even
I'm pretty sure this one weighs less than a bird. I've held a bird before, and I think a bird's heavier than this. It ain't heavier than this, but it's definitely heavier than this.
And see, my idea is taking those and like broken ones. Try to find some broken ones, and then just use the broken ones and piece
repair them somehow. Yeah, kind of a cannibalization sort of situation there.
Well, yeah, but you could start out building your own frame, and then just take the rotors and the motors and stuff like that, and just build your own.
Right. Yeah, no, that makes sense too. I can see that.
Yeah. My problem is trying to figure out the mechanical, I guess the electrical part of it, big enough.
Well, if we're cannibalizing the bird, we might cannibalize the engine from it. But
yeah, I saw it where they took what is it, the battery from a tower.
Yeah.
From a PC tower, they took the battery and they took the fans from the battery, and they turned them into motors.
Yeah, I can see that.
They glued what are those things? Rotors?
Yeah, rotors.
Little thingies, little plastic pieces.
We are so descriptive tonight, aren't we?
The little plastic thingy that spins around and like that.
You could go with rotors. They're typically rotor blades, of course, but yeah.
Blade.
Fan blades when they're actually in use in the PC. I mean, that's really kicking a lot of air, but in a small quantity. I mean, yeah.
And he hooked it up to like a battery, like a almost like a car, like a 12-volt battery. and then he hooked it up to it, and it didn't have enough power to completely lift it off the ground. So then at that point he hooked two batteries and then hooked it up to a voltage meter to change the voltage on it, and he got it up to like 50 volts or something like that, and it took off and it was flying.
Did it take off flying with the battery attached?
No, I mean, obviously it was not attached to that battery like per se. It was wired through the battery, but not.
So his must have been
like,
tethered by that wire.
Temporarily, yes, it was tethered, but it's still
nobody really wants, but it makes for good test flights until you can get it without the collar, without the leash.
Yeah, because it was all for I guess to try to figure out the wiring and everything else and make sure that he had it connected properly and was working properly. I'll have to send you the video on that. I mean, it was a pretty neat little build. But he basically he said he was going to upload like part 2 and he never did. So I'm kind of upset that I don't have a part 2 to go off of.
Stop teasing me, boy.
That's one thing that drives me nuts. Is you gotta if you're gonna make a part 1 and label it as a part 1, make a part 2 and finish it, or whatever, part 3, 4, 5, 7, 10, 12, whatever, finish it. Drives me nuts. I watch a video and it says part 1 and part 2 will be uploaded later, and it's been 3 years and you ain't got no part 2.
Just take note of this. Take note of this, Hollywood directors. We really want to see part 2 in a relatively timely fashion.
Not even Hollywood directors. YouTube.
Yeah, you expect to see. Well, here's the thing. You can make part 1 and say, like, Mel Brooks famously did it with History of the World Part 1. There never was a part 2. It was a spoof. And, of course, if you're planning on spoofing, that's one thing. But if you're going to make a part 2, you could always, lead us into believing there's going to be a part 2 by saying part 1 of 2, then part 2 of 2. Because if you just do part 1 / part 2, it's open-ended, So, for that very reason. God knows, I hope I'm going to... Now, thanks for reminding me that. I got to look through our videos and make sure that we didn't do that, leading people on because I did part 1 and there's no part 2. Because I might be guilty of that myself.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either, but I think I've got most of our videos up there. Some of you other people out there need to be posting up your videos, by the way, because we need to see some of these flights and crap, Oh,
here's one thing that I was gonna bring up. So, I guess we could, if we don't have any other questions out there.
Well, for the moment.
For the moment, because that's what we just don't have any. But it's okay, because we're gonna get to them. We're gonna get questions. But my thing is, what was I gonna say? It was gonna be it has to do with joining. Most of the time, people join in person.
True.
Because they have enough. They have the designs, they show them off, they fly them around us, and boom, 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 boom. They say they want to join, they join.
What about the ones that aren't near us, right?
Exactly. Besides OAE in California, because doesn't he have videos on his stuff?
He's got like all the he does have how-tos on how to construct all of them. And there's a lot of them. So yes, and
yeah. Does he have any of them showing like flights and stuff like that?
I don't know. Actually, I don't believe so because he's always asked us. OAE, you can confirm this, and I'm sure if you're not on yet or on soon, you'll probably comment on it. usually he doesn't get to fly often, but he does go into testing phases a lot. I know that, so he must get to fly. And he does like to see how we fly them because, well, for the same reason I like to see other people fly mine, is I always like to see what they look like. Well, first of all, with different people flying them, and then with other, then in different places.
Different climate.
Yeah, because I have learned definitely through my travels that, yeah, my planes, maybe the exact same planes and phases are a pretty good example. Mark has seen it firsthand because he's traveled with me on occasion. They're pretty much the same everywhere. But,
Well, yeah, I mean, there's still some areas that they are affected. Like in North Carolina, for example, when we were down by Cherry Point.
yes, that's true. Yes,
Oh, that
that's
was
true.
terrible.
That was pretty bad. But then again, most planes are expected to do that. Only like Thunderbolts and Javelins are going to fly, and Thunderbolts and Javelins are going to fly the same everywhere. So,
Yeah.
but no, like in OAE's case, it was like, yeah, well, I mean, he had an overabundance of aircraft, and he already had established himself. I mean, he didn't even need to, like, I mean, his videos on how to build his aircraft and like his test procedures on like things that he put on an aircraft and then how he was flying them were already well documented before he asked to join. So it was like, well, he's definitely established, and he's definitely got an abundance of aircraft filling the roles that we would need to be in there. I mean, if we asked him to fill 30 roles, he'd still have it covered. So, I mean, this was a gimme.
Yeah. His was definitely, was no problem as far as, saying, yeah, you've got the planes and the designs and the to fill the roles.
Well,
Uh,
the others, okay.
what I was thinking was that if there's somebody that's brand new that doesn't have anything and they're thinking about joining, they could, and you let me know what you think on this. They could shoot like 2 videos for one of each plane. Basic 2 videos for one plane. One, how to build it, and two, what it looks like in flight. And then
How to build, well,
submit them, and then we review them and say, okay, yeah, you're good.
I wouldn't think in that situation maybe the how to build would be as important as the flights, just because we would need to see like how, well, what role the plane was going to fill is basically it.
Yeah, but I think the how-to would then
The how-to would help, yes, it would.
definitely help because then we could test it as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't want to be. I understand we're the people that run it, but like I don't want to be hypocritical in the sense of saying like we don't have our how-tos up there yet. We just don't yet.
I put up a video today. I put up Thunderbolts because I had it, and I forgot that I had it on my phone, and I was like, oh, I have that video.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
So that one's already uploaded on my channel, on YouTube. So
you didn't put it on IVPAC, you just put it on your channel?
I just put it on my channel because I was going to upload all my designs on my channel.
Okay.
And do and add like my flights and everything else on my channel. But then I was going to probably, what I'll do is probably just see if I can send them or share them on the other channel.
Oh, well, you got me doing this all wrong then, because I usually put all my flights just on IVPAC's channel.
Well, you can do that too, but because you have control of.
But so do you.
I don't. Then you need to send me the username and password.
Well, that's exactly why I created that particular. I mean, like, okay, when I created it initially, YouTube and Google weren't the same entity that they are now. So it's even easier to do, but I created that with full intention of all you people having access to it so you can post up there because I wanted to make sure any flights that we do within the IVPAC conglomerate get posted up there. That way, they're all there. I mean, you can put it on your own site or your own channel, but like I'd like them to all be at IVPAC. That way, everyone goes there.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was wanting in general as well. we could post up, on both.
Okay, and I
That way,
will. Yeah, I'll send you the password again because yeah, you should have full access to everything that I've got. You should have full access to where I'm broadcasting this from. And if you join, you'll have it too, other audience members, by the way, because as long as you're not a spam bot. Because again, I definitely any information, anything like all the stuff that we had, the spreadsheets we've got, the maps, the videos, the pictures. They're all supposed to be through this one account. You can post up. You can definitely have them in your own as a backup, but I want them there so it's like all cumulative for everything that we've got. It makes it
yeah,
look
it does make it easier.
yeah. And again, forgive me, I thought you actually still had the username and password,
I
but I'll
thought
get
I
that
did
back
too,
to you. So
apparently, I don't know what I did with it.
okay, fair enough. Probably the same
So,
place you put the username and password for the IVPAF Today site and the IVPAF homepage site, because I had to get those back to
uh,
you.
yeah, probably, but I do have that now.
You do have that now. Good. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because I was on that earlier as well.
yeah. I will send you.
I
I
don't
will
know if I
send you
made
that
any
stuff.
changes to it. Well, no, I did. I tried to make changes to it, but I don't think it worked. That's why. Yeah, I mean, you got my message about checking the other email.
Yes, I did.
Did you get those two test emails that I sent?
I believe I got those two test emails that you sent.
Because I tried to add my email address on there as well as yours, to see if it would send it to both of us, and it didn't send it to both of us. It only sent it to you. Didn't save it. So I don't know if there's a way to add both emails when you
We'll have to
click
check.
send.
Yeah, we'll have to check and see what we did.
Because I know on on Wix, the website creator that I use, you can do that. You can add multiple email accounts to one, contact us forum.
Right.
So whenever they submit it, you can get it to like 3 or 4 or 5 emails, whatever you want. You can have multiple people get the email.
I believe they're all set up like that. It's just it looks weird when you when you first see it.
Yeah, and
Everybody's got their own layout, so their GUI is different.
well, not only that, but I think the computer, the government computer, was not working well with me
Oh, well, yeah, that could have been it too, maybe.
because they tend to block a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they do, don't they? Yeah, my work does the same thing.
It's amazing. Like I can get on YouTube and you can open up Facebook, but and I actually can get on my email and stuff, but other people can't.
What makes you so special?
I have no idea. Maybe they just don't care.
Maybe they just don't care. Um, in any case, though, yeah, I suppose as far as submitting a how to build would probably be a good idea. Um, perhaps, perhaps a mini showcase would be just as good as well. Like if you were just like introducing your plan and say, "Hey, here I've got this new bird. Looks like showcasing it. You can see the angle, see 3 views of it, how to build, perhaps, and then the test flights. If nothing else, the flights again, just to let us see how it flies for what role it can perform. So we know you got whatever roles you're trying out for covered.
And you could say, they could say ahead of time, say, hey, this is my short range aircraft, attack aircraft, and then boom, throw it, and throw it a couple times, show us the flights, and be like, okay, yep, that definitely matches up with what we're using for
Indeed,
qualifications.
indeed.
You
Yeah,
know, if they say, hey, this is my interceptor, and then we see, okay, oh, it tends to corkscrew the whole time, it's like, you might want to fix that a little bit, but it's still okay.
yeah. Corkscrewing is doable. I mean, like somebody's got to start somewhere. As long as the damn thing flies semi-straight, yeah, it could be a short range. I mean, we're not asking you to beat Javelin out the gate. We're not asking you to beat Thunderbolt out the gate. Apex, whoever happens to be, just have yourself something to fly straight and can throw.
Yeah, definitely.
As you get further along, as you learn about it, you'll definitely be able to build something that won't corkscrew, that won't spin off, and so on and so forth, or just, well, again, put a piece of paper around a rock and then throw it and see. That'll probably work.
That definitely will work. That's pretty much where I started.
Dude, it's not as far-fetched as it sounds. It wouldn't be that bad to actually take a sheet of paper and put it have your rock somewhere in the middle of it, and then crumple it up around said rock, and then twist it enough to make it look like it's got a tail, and then throw it. I'm like, there's my interceptor. I mean, if you use paper, it's a paper airplane.
But you can't be the flying bus.
No.
That rule has already been taken.
Yes, you can't be the flying bus, but you could be the flying rock. What if you put a Matchbox car in there? Oh, see?
Flying car.
Nobody did that before.
Nobody's been the flying car.
You may run out of Matchbox cars, and that could make it a very expensive plane pretty quick, but it's an idea. Who knows?
Well, yeah, it'll definitely turn into an expensive plane using the, 20, 30-year-old Matchbox cars.
Well, I mean,
probably worth a couple $100.
And think of Matchbox not worth that much, but yeah. But think about it. You could have this is a flashlight.
I mean,
a flashlight on board and just paper around it, and.
Oh, you'll never lose it.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't lose it definitely. That would be a great idea. But I mean, as long as you crumpled some paper up around the nose there and then formed it into a torpedo shape, I mean, if it's gonna fly at a regular kind of streamlined basis, hey, there you go. Go right ahead.
I think we're getting way off topic.
That really gives me an interesting idea. I might actually have to try that with something. I don't know exactly what, but I might have to try that with something.
I think we're 100 miles away from the topics that we started on.
I know. Well, it's not that far-fetched. I mean, again, we're talking about how people can get in, how people can work their interceptors. And again, I mean, a paper fighter, a paper interceptor that just has the capability of intercepting things made out of paper. Hey, dude, if you want to get formal, you can give it a little X-wing and make it look like a missile. But, I mean, if the rock is up there, dude, you got it. Just bring it.
Well, the rock is the man, so,
Yeah, I said just bring it. Yes, in any case, like you were saying, though, just get the videos up there, or pictures. Pictures would be good. Videos would be better because we could see the flights.
Pictures will work definitely as far as the look of the plane, but definitely need videos for the flights.
And I know that's that's quite horrible because that's doing what I said a while back. Nobody should be doing is just making it so that you need the internet to live your life. And I really don't like making that aspect, and I really don't like to ask everybody hey, send us a video, or post a video. I mean, again, in this day and age, you can pretty easily, but I mean, in some cases, I think the picture might be adequate as long as we have a point of reference. Like if you have,
I guess you could say that.
Yeah, because if you've got 3 planes out there, and you throw one from where you throw each of them from where you're standing, and you showcase where each one of them landed. One's this close, one's farther away, and one's really far out there. Okay, we can kind of tell all right, yeah, there you go. One's going to be attack, one's going to be strike, so on and so forth. So the pictures could work.
Yeah, it could work. It could work. But then again, I'm not saying too many people would try to do that, but I'm just saying you could just drop them on the ground.
Well, that's true, but then you know what? I mean, that's at your own mercy. I mean, technically, you could do that and then say, here's where they went. Sure, but if we meet up and we have an exercise, and that exercise happens to be offensive versus defensive, and your piddly plane that you made it look like it fly 400 yards only flies 12, that's on you. Oh, yours sucks. It needs work. So hey, that's.
Well, yeah, okay.
There's something on the honor system there, but you're only hurting yourself if you just fake it. So.
Well, you gotta fake it till you make it, right?
Well, that's true. Yes, you do.
I mean, I did.
We're bringing up the flying bus.
Look at Draco.
Hey, man, that flying bus won an award. Damn it.
That's because it was the only thing around.
No, dude, you You did something with the flying bus that nobody else did, and that was make one that late in your career, I guess. I don't know, but
It was terrible.
yeah, it was pretty bad. But I mean,
It was
it
terrible.
did fly though. How many?
Barely.
How many did you make of those? How many? Do you remember?
Like 7, maybe. Because they all died.
Yeah. Well, and you
Because
didn't want to keep it in the stable very long, even though you kind
well,
of did.
and killed him
Well, yeah, that's true.
when he was a baby.
Never let a 2-year-old get at your plane. Rule number one: don't let a 2-year-old, don't let a toddler near your planes if you really care about them, because things just do not go well.
No, they never went well.
I lost a few. You lost more than a few.
I lost way too many.
Oh, you lost a few. Oh, yeah. Well, here's another thing. People don't let a toddler have your plane near a creek because they love water. Oh, that was
Yeah,
bad.
that one was rough. That was so rough.
I
I
lost
don't.
I lost 3 really good phases that way.
Yeah, but I think you lost a lot of planes because of that creek, just in general.
Well, no, yeah, dude, that's the funny thing. That creek was literally a creek. I mean, like we could, this ain't real big. This ain't the Mississippi. I mean, I'm on one side, I'm on the other side. I mean, it really
Yeah,
was
the
a
creek
hop
was
over.
probably as wide as that keyboard.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it was nothing, and yet I still managed to lose planes in that creek, which was just amazing.
It was more of a man-made creek too, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it. Well, okay, it was man-made through the complex, because like it actually really was a body of water that they wanted to go through, but it was that small there.
Yeah, because they needed runoff for the hills and stuff like that, and they needed somewhere for it to go.
It made it cool and unique. That's for sure. I liked it.
Definitely, yeah, that little bridge area was kind of cool, but
I mean, I liked it till I ate my planes, but yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say it looked pretty cool until we started losing everything over there.
I was like, I hate this freaking creek. This creek sucks.
And it was the only one.
It's true. It was. When we went to the church annex, it wasn't a problem, but that place was cool. Can't believe you reckon that javelin's like still in those bushes alongside the church.
Probably somewhere over there.
I don't think we ever got that one back because it was so high up on that giant roof that yeah, nothing was gonna happen. I missed
Well, I still can't believe I climbed up on the roof to get that other plane.
that. Well,
Looking back on that, that was probably a suicide mission.
well, yeah, the roof actually wasn't as bad as the tree. The tree was ridiculous because we had no idea where that plane even was.
Well, yeah.
I mean, the roof we knew it was on the roof, and the roof actually had some semblance of easy access. The tree, there was
Yeah,
not
sort
really-
of.
Yeah, but the tree was neither easy access nor was it like we had no idea, dude. I didn't see it. You didn't see it. You didn't see it when you climbed up there.
Did we even get it down?
Yeah, we got it down. We got lucky at one point after spending like an hour and a half up in that tree because we got the basketball stuck up there at one point, and then you had to get the basketball, and then for some reason, like after walking around it for 30 minutes, we were like, "Wait, is that it?" We got to that point, and we found it, and it was nowhere near where you were.
Yeah. I think it was a lot higher than that.
Yeah, I think it was. It was a lot higher, and it was a lot not. It was actually kind of close to the trunk, I think, but way up there, and you didn't have a safe purchase up there.
Oh, yeah. I don't even remember how we got it down.
You said throw me the basketball, which was a challenge in itself because of where you were and how was I supposed to get the basketball up there. That's how it got stuck. When we finally got it out and then back up to you, you were able to hit it.
That's right. I was in the tree, and you threw me the basketball, and then I was able to throw the basketball at the plane. Wow, yeah.
That's right.
Oh.
Because like Most of I think the real reason was because after you threw the basketball at it so many times, you broke off so many branches. It got easier to get to it.
Oh yeah, yeah, I definitely yeah. Poor tree.
That tree is probably still shivering about that to this day.
Yep.
There
And
are
then of
some.
course we showed up after we moved out a couple of times. It probably panicked.
We probably panicked. Well, we looked around like thinking, yeah, this might have been a good place to fly. Braintree was definitely not a good place to fly. It was covered in trees, but
Trees and tall buildings.
and tall buildings. But we did it anyway.
Yeah, well, you were doing it a long time before I even moved in.
That's true. I was. And we got some proof. This is a picture of a Diablo flying through the skies of North Carolina, and I
Is that
know
Diablo or is that Spider?
that's a Diablo. This is a spider. This cute little dot right here is a spider.
Oh yeah, that is it.
Yeah. That's another one of Diablo hanging in the air right there.
Oh yeah, that's definitely Diablo. I see that.
And these like I said, these are some pretty good shots. This is a primo shot. This shows the parking lot of our beloved rain tree. Focus on that, would you? You can't focus on that.
All the trees. Yeah, it ain't focused.
Damn it, I hate when it does that.
Focus.
It's trying to. There you go.
Look at that. Look at those trees.
Those trees all around, and that's a Diablo hanging in the air. Oh, she was pretty.
That was actually pretty good. That was a pretty good shot. That was
Yeah, that is a pretty good shot. This another one of Diablo trying to go airborne with a couple trees in the air and a smokestack or a chimney from one across the way.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah. I got some of those shots. Proof that Diablos were definitely kings of the air over at Raintree. Yeah.
Well, yeah, they were definitely a unique plane.
They still are.
Yeah, I'm definitely trying to work with them and trying to make them better. I wonder, could I make them bigger?
You make them bigger, you can have the transporter bomber you're missing.
Yeah, I don't know if I need that. I don't know if I mean, not that I don't need that, but I don't know if I would call it that. I just think that it would probably get rid of some of the problems that it has if it was just a tiny bit bigger.
What problems does it have though? I mean, because like it was so basic, it worked before. Well, it wasn't so basic. It wasn't hard to build.
It was
but
a half
easy
a
to
sheet of paper. It's a half a sheet of paper. Had no anhedrals or dihedrals.
I know, and that's what tripped me out. Is it worked?
Yeah, it worked, but sometimes it didn't.
Well, yeah. Well, sometimes phases don't work either. You know, I mean.
Very few and far between.
I know, but see, that's the thing, though. I mean, look at people. You got to understand. I mean, testing and like you're going to love a design. You might not like a design, but the thing is like certain designs you're going to find that if you like them, you'll stick with them long enough that you know that like, dude, I've got almost 700 phases. There's a reason for that. Yes, I've tested a lot of technology on them, but there's been failures. Not every one of them has been good.
Yeah, but so how far are you from 700? Like 2?
Yeah, I think literally. Yeah, I think it's at 698 right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have 698 that I've ever built.
I know, but the thing is if you did that,
I think I've been over 698.
but that's what I mean though with the numbers. Even if you built 100 Diablos, like if we did our one plane a day for a year, for example, because you did Thunderbolts. I mean, now Thunderbolt's a good example. You wanted to get it down, but Thunderbolt's only going to fly one way, no matter pretty much what you do to it. But if you build 2 months worth of Diablos, you're going to have 10 that are just gods. Then you're going to have another 10 those are pretty damn good. And you might have 10 or 20 that are just like, pitch those fuckers. But that's the thing. Numbers are going to be in your favor. I've got 600 for a reason because numbers are going to be in my favor.
Yeah, but that's the thing, like with Thunderbolt, that's why I think I got it to the point where it's at is because I built one a day.
Well, true. Then do that with Diablo.
I don't.
I showed you the stuff. You built it the last time we had one of these sessions. You built a couple of them that had like couple, or not couple, but you were thinking about a couple. But you put we were talking about the dual fins in the rear back there.
Yeah, I got some. They're in the box.
Diablo's got a lot of potential, and I know this because Diablo's got without the anhedrals, it's got a similar to a phase plan form. If you've got a body like the phase, I know you could work it because I've worked phase.
Yeah, but it's not exactly the same because of the fuselage and everything. The way the wings are designed.
It's true. Okay, but
Ooh, you got some sweet tea.
Yes, I got some tea.
Oh man, I ain't had that tea in a while.
It's just a matter like when you built. I don't know how many of those Thunderbolts you got left, but I mean, as far as a straight line plane, as far as an interceptor goes, you've got enough there for test bodies. You could test something different on those. When you've got 30 of them, you're like, well, hell, let's try this one out with strakes. Let's try putting the strakes in a different place with this one because you got enough to do that.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I did. I mean, not only that, but I just, the way I folded it, the reverse folds, that particular, in that video, it shows that, like,
it's kind of.
I did it the new way in that video. So, I mean, it definitely didn't used to look like that when they first came out. They were pretty boring looking. Now they actually look pretty decent.
Kind of exotic, yeah.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it makes a basic interceptor look a lot different and make it look more unique.
There's nothing wrong with there's definitely nothing wrong with modifying the design to make it a little bit more, even if it's challenging to build. I mean, that just makes it more uniquely yours, of course.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely not that difficult to build. It's really not that difficult.
No, nor does it have to be, especially as an interceptor. I mean, you don't want the interceptor to be too bad. If you're going to take him out into a combat situation and you may lose some to attrition, yeah, you might want it to be a little bit less complicated to build. This people, by the way, is going into a topic we've had going for a long time in the Force, is whether or not our planes have become too valuable and too complex to build for a combat situation, because we don't get into them often. And I mean, there's argument for that. There's truly a possible, like, these are planes that if you build, like, there's a lot of phases. I mean, let's face it, almost any phase. If I lose it in combat, I'm going to be crying, most likely. But there are some more than others that it's like, they're probably never flying combat because, damn it, I don't want to lose the tech that's on it, So it's like, do we build those planes and intend to use them as combat, or should we just simplify these aircraft so that if they go into combat, we won't lose them? Those are the planes we used to like to call attrition planes, that it wouldn't matter if we lost them to attrition because we just didn't care.
I mean, if we have like a basic design, I guess, like you go like, what is it, like the phase 2?
Yeah, phase 2 is pretty basic. Yeah, I wouldn't care if that was lost.
Yeah, see, I mean, you have that one, but see, that one doesn't fly. See, that's the thing. It doesn't fly the same.
No, that's true. It doesn't. I mean,
so the role you need it to fill isn't necessarily the one that the phase 6 is filling now. You're the one when you need to throw it and get it to do that, you can't get it to do that because it's not the same.
Right. Yeah.
So that's where your problem is as far as the phase goes.
And I definitely when in its heyday, about like the late 80s and early 90s, when phase 2 was like the flyer, it was different. It tested out a bunch of technology, but it was just like that. It's like, if I lost it, so what? And I had to take that kind of stance on it because I lost a bunch. So I lost a bunch of phase 3. I have lost more phase 3s than I've lost phase 2s, definitely, at this point, just because phase 3s have been flying the skies for 20 years. But I would almost say I've tested more technologies out on the 2 than the 3, even with the numbers. I mean, because the sheer numbers of the 3 outweigh all the rest of the phases combined. And yet,
Yeah.
I've probably still tested more technology out on the 2.
All right. Give me just a minute, a couple minutes, and I'll be right
Stand by. All right.
back. You can keep them entertained
Entertained. We'll tap dance on the table.
with some commercial music or something.
Okay. Well, we were talking about how we mentioned how he was talking about how the phases, like he could work Diablo and how it's similar to phases, and it really is. Point of fact, as I like to point out to him, it is similar to a couple of phases that I've had when I call them Phase 1 SPs for single paper because it's essentially what he's done. I never built it the way he's building Diablos, so it makes it a different aircraft. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be different. It just in the different hands of a different designer, of a different builder, it's going to be a different plane regardless. Just like if I build the same plane and throw it, I know what to expect. I will get that out of it. But if I hand it to you, it's going to be different because we have different throwing styles. And even if we have, for some remarkable reasons, the same throwing styles, it still seems to be different. It's almost like they do have their own personality. In any case, testing Diablo is a really good example of that. I would think that if you have a good plan for him for something like that, and especially in your fighter, striker, medium to long range strike aircraft, those are the best ones because those are your best gliders. Typically, your best gliders. Yeah, I know we're belaying fighters are just going away essentially as far as control and patrol fighters are. But when you have something that's stable, that glides, and you know it, and you trust it, you know what it's going to do, and especially the gliders. I mean, because let's face it, the gliders are the ones you want to test the stuff out on because they're the most obvious. Unfortunately, with paper, you can't just simply add on and take off because paper feels it no matter which way you go. Yeah, that kind of sucks. But the truth, again, he's got Diablo. He has Diablo in such a way that I feel that plane can come a long way. And he didn't even have to put all the tech that I've put on phases on it, but he's got to try some of them. And I think it would work. And again, with other people, for other people, you got to. It's one of the reasons why we share the tech. I mean, everybody should share the tech. So it's like, hey, I got this great idea. Check this out. And this is what you people post on YouTube for. Is what we post on YouTube for. Like, if you haven't thought about it, think about it. I'm giving very serious consideration. I haven't done it yet, and I don't know why, but I'll probably cover a plane or two entirely of tape and see where that goes. It'd be nice to see if it, like, well, I don't know. I wouldn't know what to expect. I guess it's going to have to be kind of reinforced, but it better have enough wing area because we're talking about weight has to surpass the lift at some point. A lot of these planes are close to where they need to be, or like right where they need to be as their balance, their center of gravities and stuff work with them so well that let's face it, you cut something off or you put something on and they're not going to be the same creature. And I know you guys have dealt with this before. Stuff like this is what we're worried about, so adding tape onto an entire aircraft, I definitely want to do it. I'm definitely nervous as to if it turns whatever plane I decide to put that on into an interceptor instantly, because it's kind of what I expect. I mean, I could laminate a javelin, and I know what javelin's going to do regardless. But if I laminate a phase, and yes, it's still taping, but I'm just calling it laminating for this purpose. If I laminate a phase, well, yeah, I suppose as long as it's even, but how do you keep it even? Does the weight of the paper inside where all the folds are keep the plane evenly enough distributed so that its CG, its glide ratio, all of it, the wing chord, the aspect ratio, does none of that change enough when it's added with tape so that it will fly? as it did before, only whatever the tape's going to do to it, and I deign to say better. You have to see it first. I'd like to say better, but I'm skeptical about saying better because you just don't know. I mean, a flying wing design with tape, yeah, okay, I can see that. I mean, literally, I mean, you're creating a boomerang, essentially. You give it strakes, you give it fins, okay, it's going to become a lot more airworthy. But essentially, you created a boomerang. Now, I'm not in no way disrespecting the aircraft for that reason. I'm just saying this is why it flies the way it does. And it is a delicate balance of the creator and his creation that make the aircraft fly or fly at all. Because, I mean, you've seen a boomerang fly, and then comes back. But a flying wing, especially when encased in tape, has a tendency to fly like a plane should. So it is a credit to the creator and the aircraft that he created that indeed the taped flying wing works. It does show that it's peculiar that it shows a flying wing covered in tape. I mean, could you make a standard plane? Could you make a white wing style of plane which has, you know, a tail boom, a fuselage, and a forward wing? Could any of those be laminate and still be expected to do what they can do? I definitely think so. Still doesn't make me less nervous about trying it. I mean, again, I'm not nervous about trying it on Javelin. I don't think you can throw anything at Javelin. It's not going to matter. I mean, again, I'll put a rock in that puppy. I'll put my wallet in a Javelin. I don't think it's going to, you know, it's not going to matter. It'll probably fly a little bit shorter, but it's still going to do what it does. But laminating planes that are supposed to glide, yes, it makes me skeptical. I've seen so many examples of planes that I have done things to with just the minor little things. And there's a couple of the ones I'd like to bring up are hopefully the audience becomes familiar with these as I have, but G157 was a phase 2/3. Started out life as a 2, got converted into a 3. It flew like crap. I started to burn it. I converted it into a 3 because of the burns. Point of fact, 157 is essentially what created a 2 and 3, and this is kind of why I stress it. It created 2 new technologies. It created the STE. It's why there's a forward sweep on the rear wings of the Phase 3, because it started life as having this. And then, I don't know what got me started, but I burned the corners, the winglets down here. I burned this, and it burned in this fashion. So, you know, instead of the wings ended up this way, I cut them. It flew pretty good after the fact. And it's only by sheer chance that I like to burn and throw that I discovered this. And once I figured that out, I immediately started to cut that portion of the wings off. So it created the Phase 3. But I wasn't just happy with that on 157 anyway, and I also burned a little hole. Why I did this? I have no idea. Essentially, at the center of gravity, I burned a hole right there that it went through the body, went slightly into the wings before it stopped, and all these were flight tests. After I burned, I threw it. It extinguished itself during the flight. So it ended up with a hole there, and again, this plane flew better with that hole. So for a while there, most of my aircraft were getting holes, and their center of gravity is right there at the keel. And, I mean, these are things you got to find out for yourself. It's like, well, not every technology is for every aircraft, but you should at least give it a try, especially if it's the same type of plane. If you're dealing with a glider, if you're dealing with a plane that has a long-distance glide, I've got experience with it. Somebody else has got experience with it. But if you've got experience with it and it worked for them, give it a shot. What have you got to lose? If it makes your plane better, you've got nothing to lose. Go for it.
Do you really?
Marlo Farrow's founder, he created the stealth one. Everybody likes the phase, let's face it. He created the stealth one, which is based on it. And his big modification was he put a staple in the center of gravity of all of them. Like right there, you had to grab it to fly it. Man, that plane rocked. I mean, there's no other way to say it. That plane rocked. It still rocks. And essentially, that's all it is. It's a Phase 2/Phase 3. You know, it's Phase 2. with a staple in the center body. He did a couple of different folds. It was not the same plane. But that still hasn't made me. It still hasn't made me the kind of dude that's like, not every phase 2 and phase 3 has got a staple there. Will I do that? Yes, I'll do it on occasion. It probably will help, but it hasn't caused me to do it. Nor do you see many of my phases with the hole that I said I burned in, even though it worked. It's hard when you have the plane. You've built like any amount of them, and they work that way, and then you want to tweak them. It's like, do I want to tweak it? It works so good. You're really torn with yourself when you do stuff like that. I mean, the best way to test any of your birds is to build it, fly it, and fly it. Once you fly it, you know it's good, right? Once you've got it, I mean, like a few flights, you've seen that it's good, then you start to tweak it. But then you get to that point because you've flown it, and you're like, do I want to tweak it? What if it sucks? Well, you know what? Inventors got to break some boundaries. You're going to have to do something. I mean, let's face it. It's like your plane could be good the way it is, but it could be better. It could be worse. Just know that it was good before and test something out.
Yeah.
You ain't got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Oh, the other one I'd like to bring up real quick was 212. I brought out 157. 157 is essentially the grandfather of the Phase 3, the spawn. 212 was the other one. 212 I gave. I put 2 cutout fins on top of the plane. And these were exotic. I cut these fins out in the shape of like a MiG-29s. Google that, people, if you don't know what it is. But I made those fins. I made those fins exotic. I put them. I gave it like. I'll draw it for you people. That was the shape. That was the shape of the fin that I gave it.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, so it had a strake on it, the forward part leading into the fin, and I used so much. I used a short ruler and everything to make sure that those were perfectly symmetrical, because when dealing with double fins, especially added on, they have to be symmetrical, or else you're just going to have rudder yaw problems. I did everything to make sure those were symmetrical down the center body of the aircraft, and it flew. It flew good. Then I took them off, and the tape. When the tape was removed, because the tape was holding down the panels on top of the aircraft, when I removed the tape, it left a strip because some of that paper stayed stuck to the tape. Therefore, it lightened the wings by just so much. Not that I could tell, but you could see it. And the plane noticed it too. I'd still say the jury's out as to whether or not that plane made that plane better or worse, because some flights absolutely sucked, while others were pretty damn great without those. So, to this day, and that plane is retired, but
I just wish that I had the yellow spider still.
it should have been in your palace a long time ago, my friend.
Should have, yeah, but I don't. Even the ones that I had in that box were gone. I don't know where the stuff went.
I know, and that's losing your palace is a tragedy, people. You don't want to. You create your palace because that is where the greats go when they have served king and country. But if you lose it, I'm sorry.
I don't know where that box went. It went the same place as the Squire, the Knight, and all those planes went.
That was your palace?
No. I had multiple boxes.
Oh yeah,
the big one that had everything in it.
I swear your mom still got it. I swear she's gotta have it.
She hoards everything else, so it's. But I don't know where it would. The last time I remember having it was when I went to visit you in North Carolina. Like I think in Greensboro. That's the last time I remember having it. Like right around that time frame.
Right.
Because that's when I came out with the Knight and the Squire.
That's true.
Right before that, I went to visit you, and then right after I got back, I can't remember what I did with it. I don't remember if I left it there. I'm almost positive I didn't, but I might have.
Well, I mean, you did at one point. You did leave it there at one point. But
I came back and it was still there, though.
That's true. You did, but you took it back with you. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That time you came back, you took it back, because we also went. There was one time when you came back and we went out to the refuge to fly. We still call it the refuge. And you had it last. That's the last I saw it was after you had taken it back and you brought out because you were showcasing. You built 2 other squires or knights, and I brought out a couple of those new FB phases, the fighter bomber phases, the bigger ones that I have, and we were comparing those. And that was at the refuge because you had a big ass place up front.
Oh, yeah. Because that was in a parking lot, right?
No. That was just off that hill because you had some trees, but they were those tall trees, and then you had a little bitty like Christmas trees. Yeah. And we flew up front because there was like it was pretty cool. It sloped downhill to the road, and I like that because it was kind of like La Follette.
Yep. I remember. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, because I did have it then too. Oh man.
And that's the last I saw of it was at the refuge. So
Maybe she got rid of them when she moved.
God, that would suck. I would at least like to think she would have asked you like, "Hey, are you gonna want these before I, chuck them or something?" Who knows? Maybe she still does.
But that's the thing. She keeps everything.
Well, maybe she still got them.
I don't think so because I mean when I was just in Louisiana last, she didn't. There's no way. Because I would have found them. Or she would have said something because I asked her about them and she's like, "No, I don't have any airplanes."
Damn.
She doesn't have something. She just doesn't have it. She knows where everything is.
That's good. That's a good way to be.
Yeah, but she's got a million things that she doesn't need.
Well, that's not a good way to be, but still.
Yeah, like she's got stuff that she should throw away that she just won't because she just won't. It's like, so I know she wouldn't have thrown away the planes. It's just that I think she might have. Here's what could have happened. I either left them in the trunk of the car of the ZX2 somehow. I either left them in the trunk of the car and when I got rid of the car. But no, because I lost them before that.
No, yeah, I think you lost them before that. Not that I knew what happened when you lost them in the trunk. They weren't in the trunk of the Scion during the accident, were they?
No.
Okay.
Because I had the ZX2 way after that, and then that's when I lost the box. Was when I had the ZX2.
Okay. Because I don't remember. See, I'm trying to think of also. I don't remember if you had the big box when I came to visit you at Cherry Point. I don't think you did.
There was one time that I did.
There was one time that you did. Okay, but you brought it back to visit. You must have.
Yes. Yeah. See, there's a lot of fuzziness in between there. I just don't remember. I mean, and then I wouldn't think that somebody would have gone through my room and thrown them out.
Unless JR did it.
Without saying something.
Unless JR did it.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in the military.
Oh, in the military. Oh, yeah. No, I don't think so. That either. They weren't like that, were they?
Well, they kind of were, but they would usually yell at you for something first, after the fact.
Yeah.
So if I left the box out, and they saw it, and they decided to throw it away, I would have been in trouble because it was left out. And,
right.
And they decided to throw it away and then tell me after the fact.
Okay, fair enough.
I don't really know.
It is just one of the box mysteries that we have.
I mean, it just confuses me.
I mean, don't feel bad. I lost a bunch myself. You know, I lost bad ones too because I had some historical aircraft and they're all gone. All gone.
Yeah, I'm trying not to let that happen.
I try to get. I get really sad thinking about all the greats I lost because I lost some. I lost the greats. Let's face it. I lost all the greats. They're all gone. I have some in the Palace now, but not nearly what I had in my old Palace. Yeah,
Oh
it's really
yeah.
heartbreaking. I mean, number 1 and number 3 were in there of the phases. The number 1 Osprey was in there. The number 1 Javelin was in there.
Ooh. Ooh.
And every phase that had a good flight ever, like good any flight that you was talking about that talked about in past history, 67, 172, 157, they were all in there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know.
I've still got other good ones. Don't get me 231, the one you'll never forget that you had to go through the thorn bushes to go get. Yeah, I've got that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, you better not get rid of that one.
I mean, there's a lot of them I won't ever get rid of. I mean, and you sometimes you think like, I mean, you wouldn't want to get rid of any of them. No, that's not true because I still have some hanging on the line right now that positively suck. But I'm gonna have to hold another big exercise to figure out which ones they are before I burn them.
Yeah, yeah. I need to do that myself.
That's hard to believe coming from you, having had lost so many that you got. It's like, really, you got to go through some and burn them? I
Well,
wouldn't think that you had enough to burn yet.
there's some that just are terrible,
Oh,
even right now.
I don't suspect you have hardly any ready to go into a palace right now, do you?
Mm. Mhm. Maybe
And,
Ninja.
oh yeah, but it's so new, you wouldn't want to retire
That's
it
what I'm
yet.
saying. Yeah, not that. And I mean, maybe once I get another, 20, 30, 40 more, then maybe, the
Yeah,
first couple can go in.
yeah, of course.
As of right now, no. But I mean, there are a couple of ninjas that would make it if they were old, if I had more.
Yeah, there comes a time, there comes a time in the plane's life where you realize it's time to retire it, and only you know when that is, because it's hard to say. It really is hard to say.
Oh yeah, I mean, because it varies from plane.
Is that the reason why I've got a 25-year-old bird flying? Yeah, probably. But there is something cool about seeing a 25-year-old bird flying.
I just, I can't even imagine being able to keep one that long. As far as not having.
Not when you seem to lose boxes every 5 years. No, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, that's seems to be the case for everything. But I was moving a lot too, so I mean, there's things that are
It's
just gonna
true.
happen.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true. It's damn true.
Hence is why I've got so many bases.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Almost catching up to you at this point.
I know, dude. I know. I've actually closed a couple myself just so I can trim down because after trying to keep up with the coding after a while, it's like, damn. Especially when more people get involved, then you realize, okay, I might have to trim it down to the biggest bases and leave the others out in the code.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna have to do something like that at some point because I've got the one here.
How you think I
I'm
feel,
gonna end up
man?
I'm gonna
How
end
you
up
think
opening
I
up another
feel?
one in this area too because eventually we're gonna buy a house, so
Yeah,
or at least get a bigger place because we got a 2 bedroom right now. We're gonna need at least a 3 bedroom,
yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
if not 4 bedrooms. Because if we had 3 bedrooms, we could get away with 3 bedrooms and a garage. But if it doesn't have a garage, we need a fourth bedroom because I need a place to put, the computer and everything else.
it better be a
And
environmentally controlled garage.
well, I mean, it's gonna be sort of. I mean, it's not terrible down here. I mean, the humidity gets kind of rough, but I mean, it's not terrible. Garages, for the most part, seem to be pretty decent down
It's not. It's not terrible in Florida. Yes, it is.
here.
At least for planes.
I mean, the garages are pretty decent as far as being able to keep out a lot of the humidity.
Oh, okay,
It still
okay.
gets, it still gets hot, but it's not terrible.
It's not terrible.
Yeah, because I mean, 'cause I plan on basically if I have the garage, I'm gonna definitely I'm gonna have a place to put the motorcycle. And then other than that, it's gonna basically be a room because I'm not gonna need to park anything else in there. I'm not gonna park a vehicle in there.
Except a few planes.
That's pretty much gonna be it. So I'm gonna have my workspace. I'm gonna have computer set up. I'm gonna have everything set up. Might even throw a big rug down in there or throw some carpet in it.
Oh, the carpeting will help, actually.
So I might do something like that
That's cool.
because I'm gonna basically turn it into a another room, and I'll probably put like a bed out there maybe if I wanted to or something like
We can do that with basements, so we get
that.
lucky
Yeah,
with that.
that's the problem. We don't have basements down here.
No, because you got swamp.
Yeah, the fact that we just live too close to the ocean.
Well, yeah, but your groundwater is so high, so that's why you can't do it.
Yeah, it's pretty
You
high.
live in the swamp, yeah. The groundwater being that high, there's no chance for basements anywhere down south.
I don't know why they don't just build the basement like the first floor and then just build on top of it. I mean, they technically what a two-story house is, but
Well, the trend, you remember my parents' place, the trend seems to be is to build on a hill so that you have like a 1.5 or 2.5, depending on how you look at it, story house, where the front end of it looks like a 1 story, but the back end is definitely a 2. And then you can always question, is that a first floor or is that a basement? But, hey, that's bucking the system.
yeah, I mean, because that's what works. I mean, and they don't have any issues.
Right. As long as it's on the side of the hill, it's technically still on the ground, even though it's partially in the ground.
Yeah, I mean, there was the one house that was in Western North Carolina that a friend of mine, um, that was around the corner from where a friend of mine was staying, and that house was actually completely underground. I don't know how they did it, but it was completely underground.
That's one of those doomsday houses or whatever. It's not exactly conducive to flying.
Because they basically parked on their roof, like the grass and everything else, like
That's wild. I like that.
it's weird. And then you could actually the driveway went right up to the front, like to the front door. If you open the driver's door, you would be standing in front of their front door. That's the only thing you could see is the front
Any of
door.
you guys out there got a house like that? That sounds cool. I want to visit.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. It's got no natural light, so you've got a ton of lights in there to make it bright.
Yeah, that's true.
I never actually went inside the house because they probably were doomsday type people.
Or hobbits.
Yeah, I mean, you saw them. I mean, they had gardens and stuff, and
Yeah.
they were outside, but nobody ever went inside except for been an arsenal of weapons down there. Who knows?
And that is most likely what the case was.
That was definitely probably the case because I mean, it was kind of out in the country, North Carolina. I mean, it was probably definitely the case. But I mean, pretty cool concept because it was still also on a hill as well.
It definitely makes it easier to fly. I mean, because chances are you don't have any trees growing on your house. So if you just go upstairs, outside, you can fly out there.
Yeah, but it was kind of a busy area as far as being around other houses and being around.
Oh,
There were trees and stuff that were semi close by, but it
oh,
definitely
yeah,
wasn't
okay.
like they didn't really have any yard really. They didn't
That
have
kind of sucks.
like a lot of land. They just literally it was they built their house underground. They had a small garden. They had this little hill where pretty much where the roof was, and where you would walk in to the front door, and that was it. I mean, it was pretty weird.
Yeah, I suppose so. It would definitely, dude. It would definitely be pretty weird not having any damn light. I wouldn't like that.
I know. It would just feel weird.
I would like living in a bunker, except for the fact, of course, you get no damn light. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, you constantly have to have light. Like, if you want to see, you have to have lights on.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just gotta be.
there
It's just
there.
gotta be the weirdest concept.
Well, I also there. I've heard of actually. Now that I think about it, now we've been talking about it, I've heard of places. There are tube lights that they make for shit like that. I mean, literally, they're called like tube lights. It's like a skylight with a bubble dome, and it's like a mirrored tube that leads straight into your what would be your roof and your ceiling of whatever underground house you have. And because of the way it is, I guess sunlight is accumulated in the tube, it filters down into the house and makes it pretty bright where it sits. So if you have enough of those, I guess you could have some pretty good natural light that way. I've seen how those
Maybe.
work.
Maybe, but I never went inside, so I have no idea
Yeah,
if they
yeah.
or if they just had a bunch of lights on inside. I have
I'd
no
like to
clue.
think that's what they did, but I mean, who's to say?
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
do it,
yeah. If I mean, well, whatever I guess whatever the cost is compared to running electricity a lot.
right? And then again, maybe they had solar power. Who knows?
They might have, but I don't know where the solar panel was if they did. I didn't see
Okay,
one.
you didn't see one. All right.
I didn't
Maybe
see
not.
one, but they could have had one. They could have had one on the backside that I just didn't see.
Again, one of those things where if you live in a place like that, you'd almost definitely consider solar power as something, just because you seem like you know, solitude built into the cave, and perhaps one of those people, a survivalist. So maybe solar power is the way to go for you. So you're off the electrical grid. You're off the grid. No pun intended.
Yeah, but I don't think. I mean, they could have been, but they weren't completely off because I mean everybody else around them wasn't.
Yeah.
So they would almost have to be on the grid somehow. But I think they were trying to be, I guess, more as close to self-reliant as possible with still being on the grid.
Hmm.
But they could have had solar. They could have had a solar panel as a backup. So that way, if they did lose power, they didn't lose power
Indeed.
because you can hook that. You can get it hooked up right into your breaker box. You can get an adapter for it. So whenever the power
Right
goes out,
into it.
yeah, you basically it's almost like a little extension cord plug. It's a little bit more high tech than that, almost like a dryer plug, I guess you would say.
Oh yeah, yeah. So like one of the like 120 volt.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a bigger voltage, but you basically it's wired into your breaker, your main breaker, and then the little plug sits there inside the box, and then whenever you need to plug it in, you just plug it in, and then boom, you got power. You can
Plug
do
it
the same
in,
thing.
plug
You
it
can do the
in.
same thing with a generator. You can if you got a big enough generator, you can plug it right into the breaker. Um, you can have it wired up for that, and then whenever the power goes out, you can run the generator and then run a couple appliances here and there.
I like that idea. I mean, seriously, that's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely helpful. I mean, if you're like in a situation like we were in North Carolina where we lost power for 3 days, I mean, it would have been nice to run the AC and run have the refrigerator and freezer running and not go bad.
True.
We had to cook a lot of food, in the freezer because of the fact that the storm just like killed. I mean, basically the power was out for 3 days, and we were lucky to have it back in 3 days. A lot of people didn't get it back for like 2 weeks.
That's just crazy. I mean, out of one storm that wasn't even a hurricane, that's just fucking crazy.
I think it was a hurricane. One of them was a hurricane. That one was a hurricane, but it just wasn't. It's just the way it came in that it wasn't completely devastating,
Yeah.
and it definitely killed. power to the people closer to the Outer Banks and way down east, but like there were some people that lost homes or at least lost the first level of their home because of the flooding.
Just lost a whole level of houses. In case you want to send any money or care to these people that got flooded by the storm, call your Red Cross. I can't help you. I don't know the number, but you people do. So go ahead. Right about now is the time the number should be flashing across the bottom of the screen, but I can't do that, and so you know what to do.
I mean, so we lost power for 3 days, but there was people that were out for like 2 weeks.
You want I should start playing the slow piano music with the puppy dog on there, like those sad little kids.
Terrible. Like, donate now.
10 cents a day is all it takes. Well, yeah. Well, we had a couple viewers. Didn't see any questions. That's okay. It's cool. We'll be doing this again. So, um, yeah. We did answer some of our own questions, and hopefully we answered some of what other people's questions could be. It's kind of what we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna wrap this up because we are apparently straying a little off the topic just because of that. I mean, it's helpful and everything, but again, we'll be on. If you have other questions, follow, like, whatever it is you're going to do with this stuff. What did you say when you usually say this?
Yeah. If you follow us on YouTube, IVPAC Global. You can follow individual channels as well. Just look at the subscriptions. Post a link in the bottom of the video. As always, don't forget to like, give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions, you can also post them in the comments below, and
Buy
then
chocolate milk.
we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Also, check out the website. You can look those up under YouTube channel. Those posted as well. All right, and we'll see you on the other side.
Indeed. Keep them flying, people.